Okay, so 19, we're out of 19, we're into 41. 19 was approach. Okay, here we go, the hexagram decrease. So he's going into the campaign, he's running the campaign on the hexagram in this personal hexagram called decrease, and it's going from line 1, 2, 3, 2 active and a passive, just right in the last couple of months of the campaign. So I wanted to show you these lines. Mountain above, the theme is the mountain above, the lake below, restraint without, pleasure within. One wants to move the immovable, but in the end we'll have to go around it. Spring floods, the lake challenges its limits. Water cannot climb the mountain, it will flood the valley. Great force is needed to reinforce the dams and barriers. To impose restraints on joy is a losing battle. The wise one will exert influence at the source. Find good outlets for happiness. A way must be made for the flow of joy. This is the theme. The judgment, restraint without, happiness within. Considerate initiative. There are natural limits to self-indulgence. Without restraint, there is no music, only noise. If one speaks inappropriately, others will be offended, and one's fortunes will decrease. If one's actions disturb the peace of others, one will be decreased. Decrease is inevitable. The question is whether one imposes decreases on oneself or other people impose it. So this was the theme running while he was getting elected. Wise impatience and will not wait for what one wants. If one rushes ahead or forces matters or makes demands on others, quality will suffer. Not every desire is worth pursuing. Not every mountain is worth climbing. A little restraint will improve results. Well, really, he rushed into making big restraints, like to build a wall or whatever. But the lines in this 1, 2, 3 step of the last election, this progressed on. This is inner attitudes working out, his inner confidence working out. This is the lessons of the soul as he's going through the outer transits. Okay, so the outer transits were not good, but the inner transits were strong. So it was a strong sense of belief in oneself. So this would have been October. Good cheer overcomes inertia. One pushes on, and an energetic start will win the day. Double the pleasure, double the fun. Charm and happiness will win the day. Good intentioned initiatives, one starts well and in good cheer. So in October, he started to become more popular. He was happier. He was going on his charisma more than his content. Make America great, let's be happy, okay. So then it went into the second line, October 19th. This is the last 2 weeks, or just 10 days, the last 10 days of October before the election. One pushes forward, one does not climb the mountain. One takes the line of least resistance. Momentum accumulates. If one conducts himself properly and makes an effort to share, the possibility of peace arises. One moves too fast and with too much force. One causes shock to others. One cannot keep one's mouth shut or walk quietly. Misfortune. So there's 3 different stories for each of these. The first one's the I Ching logic. The second one is with the hexagram within that line. And the third one is the pentat. And then I went to the actual one that carried the election day, the last few days and the election day. Affected by the power of persuasion, one cannot resist. Hesitation will limit accomplishment and diminish respect. One holds back and does not give his all. Self-imposed restraint will prevent humiliation. One cannot be left to work alone. Supervision is needed. Independence must be decreased if one is to be of service to others. So it really has a theme. It needs to be decreased. He got in there. He got elected. Suddenly, everybody's running his business. Saturn's opposing his sun. Suddenly, he's having to be restricted. He's having to pay attention to others and give them more credibility than he ever would have, to whatever degree. So this was leading up to the election, but he got elected during this. He did pull in the people he needed and persuade enough people to support him and went with it and go with it. But in doing so, thought he was doing what his own, everyone wanted him to do what he wanted to do on his own, but really his weakness is that even though he has his team, he's leading and saying everything that goes for everyone. But he won, he got under that. So we're looking at this election. October 20th is still in the hexagram of deliverance. So we'll go through this first one. It's still, but it's changed to line 4. Before it was one would fall behind in line 4. Yeah, line 4 of deliverance, rousing out of the abyss. Okay, one takes action unexpectedly, even though it is not one's place to do so. Inappropriate. Someone is shocked. If the action answers a real need or resolves a problem, there will be no blame. The wanderer rests by the fire. Further progress is not advisable. One should contemplate the implications of what has already been accomplished and what remains to be done. One acts to address injustice. If the ruler is weak, the advisor must be strong. Doubts must not be catered to. Deliverance will come through action. In such situations, what seems inappropriate will succeed if it's worthy. Okay, so if it's the worthiness. So this is the main theme going on. Is he worthy? Is it succeeding? Is he going? How many people? This is the two different camps. But when we get to the inside of this is the hexagram of development, gradual progress. It's the hexagram Liebe development, gradual progress, going slowly. But the hexagram inside again is this hexagram, the finest one, the smallest detail. Each line is 10 days. 10 days. So from October the 8th of 2020, September 28th, it's in line 6, line 5, line 4, line 3 of hexagram 64, inappropriateness, which was after completion, inappropriateness. No, before completion, inappropriateness. This was the one that happened when Pluto had his ascendance in this hexagram. And when the sun went over, it was this one. So in the, go to 6th place here. This is the hexagram of the before completion, inappropriateness. So it's in September 28th, it started in line 6. Perspective is confused. Priorities are obscured. One is aware of the problems but uncertain of the solutions. So this is the last part of his election campaign. There's not enough time to undo all the wrongs that have been done. One's situation is precarious. One will not find loyal followers. To encourage the unworthy would be folly. So those are so there's one more. One gives bad advice and that's on a wrong conclusion. A fool will be ridiculed. So this was the theme, starts at the end of September, going into October during the election campaign. So this is, okay. When you get to October 8th, going deeper, this is the last days of the election campaigns. So like one has an important position but will not impose judgments. By doing nothing, the wrong people are encouraged. Injustice will increase. Dangers multiply. If one's intentions are noble, initiative will lead to deliverance. One does not respect the efforts of others. One does not enforce what is right. Status without honor is like standing in quicksand. So again, this is October 8th. This is his inner theme during this election. And then October 19th to the 29th goes to line 4. One assumes responsibilities greater than one can handle. Mistakes will be made. People will be inconvenienced. Those in authority will be undermined. Words over water can be heard at a great distance. If there are enemies, they will hear. One's actions diminish the welfare of others. One speaks without listening. To persist will bring sorrow and shame. Well, his words and ideas over the water, around the world, so many things have been heard, and so many things are coming back at him that will come up during this campaign. This is the second to last week. The last week, he gets in for the time of the election. This is the hexagram. So it's funny, it's interesting. We read the wrong 3 first, but really you start to see how more completely that little inaccuracy, we got it. Wait a second, that wasn't right. And we saw it. Now we're looking at it, we're seeing much more clarifying factors. Line 3, incompetence. One sees the difficulties but does nothing to help. When one finally comes, it will be too late to make a difference. Problems increase. Questionable characters prevail. Words of encouragement will not be heard. Inadequate effort. Deviance from duty. One invites criticism. Humiliation will not be far behind. This is the election day. Inappropriateness. It's like he wins and loses it on inappropriate. So he started, when it went over as a Senate in the first election campaign, he was on this theme. It's the main theme. He was going on it. Now it's come down. We're into deliverance. I think the deliverance of arousing out of the abyss and the danger is him getting out of the office where everybody's minding his business, where he can just do his own thing and he's not being in a position of political power anymore. The political power was his albatross. He says, I'm so great on it, but really he got stupid under it. So this is, he doesn't think so. Okay, these are all warnings, but when you look at it against the back, the themes against the background have unfolded. They seem to make sense that things are unfolded, that the universe is unfolding as it should. It looks like it's telling that you should be getting ready for your next adventure, to go on, do some things for yourself rather than maintain this. But by the transits, we see that there's heavier repercussions that are coming up. The Pluto to the Venus and his financial things, his popularity. If he starts being a loser, his own support will turn on him tremendously. So that's pretty well. I guess I'm going to leave it here. That's it. Thanks. See you next week. Next week we're doing Carl Jung. Okay.